Hi everyone, welcome to Mills Family Gardening. My name is Dina and today we'd like to give y'all a little garden tour of our little garden. We live in North Texas, Zone 8A, and today is August 20th. A couple of days ago we got some nice rain finally. The temperatures have dropped and we got about 7/8 of an inch of rain, and we're supposed to get more rain the next week, so that's very exciting. And I would like to start our garden tour with this sweet potato raised bed. You can see that the sweet potatoes are doing really well. They survived the heat, the drought. I did water them, but they still were kind of dry, so they are doing well. And also you can see that our asparagus here in the back is doing pretty well too, except it's not really growing any new asparagus stalks, but it's still looking pretty good. I tried to do a good job of watering it regularly, and thankfully it survived the heat and did not die. Last spring I planted cucumber seeds kind of late, and they did not really have time to produce any cucumbers because the heat set in pretty quickly in the season. So I replanted some seeds. These are national pickling cucumbers in the beginning of August, I think it was. But these are the seeds that I collected last year from our cucumbers, and I already thinned them out. I left only one seedling in each place, so they're doing really well. The heat has subsided, so their cucumbers are going to be loving all the rain and coolness. By this trellis we have Malabar spinach that I planted back in the spring, and I thought it would do well in the heat and drought, but surprisingly it did not. It did not grow much, and you can see how short it is. It started waving itself around the trellis, and it's just now started really growing leaves. Before that the leaves were so tiny, about this size. So it really benefits from cooler weather too. And also in between Malabar spinach I planted more cucumbers, and this is the Egyptian walking onion little seedling. I planted the little bulb from our existing walking onions a few weeks ago. It's doing really well. It's not picky at all. Just put them in the ground at any depth you want and it will happily grow. By cucumbers we have Egyptian walking onions. I ordered the bulbs on eBay last year in the fall, and I planted them. They're growing really well. They started producing little baby Egyptian walking onions, and if you come over here, I put 3 of them in this raised bed. They're so easy to grow. I just stuck them in the ground, keep them moist, and they're growing really well. By Egyptian walking onions we have this Hollyhock seedling. I got the seeds of it for free on Facebook. There's a Facebook group called Free Heirloom Seeds Community, I believe, and you exchange seeds or get seeds for free. And these are the seeds that I got there. I just put them in the little seedling tray and they grew up so well, and I decided to put it here. So we'll keep it here for now. And here we have our blueberry plant in the pot. It's not doing that well because of the heat and drought. I kept watering it every day. I water it with rainwater a couple of times. You can see some new shoots that started growing, but the older branches and leaves are suffering from the drought. But it's okay, since we have the new growth, I know that it's doing okay. And here we have our container area. Lately I've been growing more plants in containers because we're out of room to grow plants in the ground, so I thought I would create more container garden. And right here we have this is mint, I think, and this one is either spearmint or peppermint. I did not save the tag, and now I do not know which one is that, and you can see that the bees are really enjoying the blooms. Back here we have 4 pepper plants in those large pots. They are sweet banana peppers. This one I planted too deep. I think that's why it hasn't made it, but it's okay. I still have 3 more. And back there we have autumn fern. That one is wood fern, and I got them all on clearance. This is brown Turkey fig tree that I got on clearance at Lowe's also. It was 50% off. It's doing really well, and actually we did have a little fig here. The fruit itself that we picked, it didn't really ripe that well. It kind of went rotten, but it's okay. It was still fun to pick it. And also these all are clearance items. These are celosias, and this is angelonia. I just put them all in one pot, and they seem to be doing really well together. And right here, I started some broccoli and cabbage seeds. Half of them are broccoli and half of them are cabbages. I started them indoors under the grow light. I noticed they do not like to stand in grow lights very long. They kind of start shriveling and drying up, probably because it's too hot for them. So I just took them outside and put them in the spot that gets full afternoon shade. Here we have Swiss chards, and I got them from another in-ground bed that I wanted to turn into the fall in-ground bed. And so I just pulled them all up in the middle of the heat and planted them all here. Some of them died, but some of them survived, and they're doing really well, and I keep watering them. And back there you can see we still have kale from the spring. We still have some kohlrabi, but I probably need to pull out the kohlrabi because it was too hot for them and they're not growing that well. Our tomatoes really struggled during the heat and drought this season, and you can see that all the tomatoes on this side actually died except for one. But then we have some here that I trimmed back in July. I trimmed the main tops and I left the side shoots, or suckers as some people call them, and they keep growing, and you can see that they started producing flowers. And so I'm hoping that they will actually produce some fall tomatoes, and to pollinate them I just shake them a little bit to spread the pollen around, and they look great and happy. In this in-ground bed we have a squash and pumpkin patch. We have about 4 Pattypan squash and 3 Seminole pumpkins. I decided to try Seminole pumpkins because I read that they're not as vulnerable to squash vine borers, and they seem to be doing okay. Amazingly, we have actually some Pattypan squash growing. If you look here, you can see that we have one pretty big one, and there is another one growing, the little one. And on other plants we have some other squash growing already. You can see that the Seminole pumpkin, the one that has white spotted leaves, is spreading and it's taking over everything. But it's not blooming yet. I just now started seeing the signs of blooms, so I'm hoping pretty soon we'll have some female flowers and then pumpkins themselves. This is our little patch of purple hull peas, and you can see that they're getting taken over by the Seminole pumpkin also. And they also struggled through the drought and heat. Originally I thought that the purple hull peas would tolerate the heat and drought just fine, but they did not. They did not produce many flowers, and the ones that produced completely fell off without really producing pods. But now the weather has cooled down and we had some rain, you can see that we actually have some pods that are developing in different stages. It has some blooms, some new blooms that are coming up just now. Anyway, it's very exciting. I'm hoping to finally harvest some cowpeas and try them. Right here we have a couple of stalks of corn that started growing from our compost flower pot, and I thought I would just stick them in the ground and see if they actually produce anything. So this is the one, and here's the second one. One of them is doing much better. We'll see how they do. Gardening is all about experimenting. And also back here we have another clearance item that I got at Lowe's the other day. These are pentas. They had a lot of dead blooms. I just removed them, and now it's full of new pretty pink blooms. That's a great way to increase flowers or plants in your backyard. Just buy something on clearance and you can transplant them in the spring or simply put them in the ground the way they are. Back in March we pruned this peach tree, and if you watched our video you probably saw that it was just 3 sticks sticking out and it was literally this high. But then you can see that it's grown so much, it's much taller now, looks very happy and healthy. So pruning is very beneficial to the tree. It's not producing any peaches yet, but I'm hoping that next year or in a couple of years it will start producing. We hope you enjoyed our garden tour. We're looking forward to more rain, cooler temperatures, more planting and gardening in general. It's always fun, it's very therapeutic and so rewarding. Y'all have a great day, and we'll see you in our next video. Bye bye!